Cheapskate is a video game made by old Neversoft homies, Ralph and John. I worked with them throughout my time at Neversoft, and John, I worked with him very closely on Epic Skater 2. Their whole journey has been kind of unique, and I think it's cool to see just like another skate game on the scene, and they're just trying to make it happen totally independently of any publisher or any sort of outside influence. Let's watch this together. I actually haven't watched this video, so hopefully there's no DMCA music. So it's like, as you can see, it's an arcade skateboarding game, right? I'm pretty sure all of these animations are like not animations. They're scripted spins and flips just on the objects in the game. And I think that is sort of the main push of this. I have played it quite a bit. You know, it's snappy, it's responsive. All those elements of like a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater arcade-like kind of control scheme are there. So it feels like a Tony Hawk game and like a skate game. So I'm gonna unmute in Discord because I'm currently on a call with Ralph and John, who are the guys behind Cheapskate. Yo.
How's it going?
John, you want to kick us off and like maybe tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Yeah. Cool. For sure. I skate. I've skateboarded forever. I like video games. At some point, I came across the Tony Hawk games. Somehow I ended up, long story in between all that, at Neversoft for Thug 2. So I was there for Thug 2, Wasteland, Project 8, and Proving Ground, doing general programming, gameplay programming, and then design and tech design for like missions and goals and challenges and things like that. So
cool. Yeah. Thanks for, sharing your time with us today. Ralph, why don't you tell us a little bit about your history?
Yeah, so I started on the very first Tony Hawk. I was lucky enough and fortunate enough that was my first video game that I've ever worked on. So I knew Joel, kind of a friend of a friend. So I one point in time, he called me up, asked me if I wanted to help him produce video games. And he had, this massive licensed video game and then this smaller skateboard game. And I was going to be put on the small skateboard game because I had no experience producing video games. And so, yeah, that's long story short, that's how I got the job at Neversoft. I worked on the first 8 titles, so from Tony Hawk 1 to Project 8. Then I went to work for Tony for about 4 years, helping him. Then I branched out and decided to do a documentary about the Tony Hawk video game series. It's actually now for free streaming on YouTube if you want to check it out. It's called Pretending I'm a Superman. Worked with John for a little bit. We reconnected, and then he kind of contacted me and was wanting to make another skateboard game. And when it comes to skateboard games, I'm all in.
Tell us about like the angle, like what made you want to sort of start making Cheapskate, John?
A lot of things, right? But it's like I've always liked, the Tony Hawk control. I think there's lots of opportunity for taking it as a core. I had some thoughts that like it'd be really fun to try to have that kind of a control in smaller, simpler, realistic scale environments, kind of like Session and Skater XL, but with the Tony Hawk control. Like it can go anywhere, and I feel like it's kind of gone in a different direction because you can grind those power lines up there now and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're missing the novice spins.
Yeah. I prefer just personally the arcadey, snappy control. So I have trouble when I'm playing the more physics-based games because I always feel the analogy I've come up with is, for me, it feels like I'm kind of waving my hands around in the air trying to control a party balloon that's flying around in front of me. So I just sort of felt like, it would be neat to skate those environments, but with a control that I can just like nail everything. So that was just the starting point. We got to be able to walk and skate. So the first thing I just made like a third-person character controller where you could walk. And then I just made like a vehicle mode, which was a skateboard, essentially, just all from scratch, and getting the camera and the control just core working. And then, just moved on from there.
So would you say that it was sort of like you felt that there was kind of a hole in like the arcade skate video game scene? So you're just like, what? Well, also like I want to make a game that's like what I would enjoy.
It's both, obviously, because you got to be working on something that you have like a core affinity with. And that's really, kind of it. And I think like exactly like you said, like there's room there. So I feel like there is already the Tony Hawk games, the remakes that are happening. There's all manner of ways to play the old games, including the mod, Rethought and Thug Pro. But is there a way to sort of create something that can coexist with all that stuff? And then that was the really big thing. This is like the big hope, is to be moddable.
Can people like make levels for this now, or is that on the slate? Or like
soon? Technically, yes. If someone just went in and looked at what's going on, they could already be doing it. But I'm going to release like an open Godot project where you could import, work it within it, or import things from Blender, and then be able to export it as a pack that our game can read. And that's what felt core. I was like, we have the whole modding scene. That's incredible. There's not looking to replace that or anything. That's like amazing. It's sort of like this historical gathering of all things Tony Hawk into one giant mod. But on the side, it's like another thing could be, what if we could have like this core control that's familiar to people and really, really open up like the game so that you can just mod it, put any kind of characters you want in, put any kind of levels, make your own levels. Obviously, we'd be shipping some core content because we got to make it and demonstrate, what it is, and have the little $5 product be a cool toy that has stuff you can play with. But yeah, for sure. The goal is really that, to like just be super moddable, super open to single player and multiplayer without any of the like forced accounts and all that.
Are you trying to like support Steam Workshop too, so people could just like go in a menu?
For sure. That is totally the long-term goal. If we can pull off modding, then 100%, since this is already on Steam, why not create a platform where people can actually make and sell stuff, And I think that's super cool. So that for sure is a big-time long-term goal.
The game is called Cheapskate, where it's like clearly just like a really like micro indie, I think is like the term, where it's like endearing in the fact that it's like it's missing animations, but like part of the Kickstarter is like raising money for animations and being able to like get a character and rig it and make it all look pretty. But it's like, at what point is this gonna not look cheap anymore? Or is like, do you even care as long as it's fun? Like, how does that all balance out for you?
I think as long as it's fun, we're going to keep on progressing that way. And we're definitely taking feedback from fans. For me, it kind of feels like the Tony Hawk 2 days. And it was just more, John and I are just kind of making the game that we want, how we want. It's sort of a little punk rock style, which is sort of the roots of skateboarding as well. That's sort of the feel that we want.
Cheapskate is like a cop-out in the sense of like, this is what it is kind of thing, and we're just plowing forward.
I mean, we bear all. You can go to the very first page of the app. The splash page has a giant list of to-dos, right?
Oh.
So we show everybody exactly what we're at and what we're going to be doing and so forth. And that list just increases. And then there's the easy stuff that we can do, like adding music, adding graphics that people give us.
Cheap also is, the name, like it's that $5. The point was that is like, don't get too precious with it and don't get greedy. That's just been the goal.
I see a $10,000 goal. What would that money be used for if you reached it?
We pretty much laid out in the goal itself, new character model, new character rig. In essence, it pays for us, and be able to pay an animator to get these things created and in the game.
The 10 grand is really just sort of that base level. No matter what we do, we run up against this problem that like we can't really make that next step of replacing the animations in the rig unless we like put some money into it. So it's like that gets the ball rolling. And I think anyone looking at the game, that's the first thing they're going to say. They're going to be like, are you going to put animations in?
We wanted to make it, look obvious that there are no animations yet,
If you pledge on Kickstarter, you get your name in the credits, right? And then walk me through some of the other ones.
So yeah, for the cheapest one, you can get your name on the credit screen. So we have a credit screen currently. And then for a little bit more, you can actually get your similar, but it's inside the game. We have a wall in our sort of main core level, and your name will be on that wall. And then we decided to do like, well, why don't we do like one big one, and so the one big one, the $50, if anyone really wants to, kind of thing. It's like, we'll drop your logo or your graphics.
Do you have any like final pitches, final thoughts? Like, I'm certainly going to back this for sure. I remember talking to John about this like in January, I think, and he was showing me over Discord, and I was like, oh man, this is so cool. I'm so stoked.
Yeah, I mean, that's, we're stoked on the game. We're stoked on what we're doing. Obviously, we love people coming into our Discord and giving us kudos. We're going to, like John said earlier, we're going to continue developing this, whether the Kickstarter goes through or not. That was not a question. And we appreciate all the support there. If you do head over to our Discord, just hit me up, Ralph D, and you may get a free key sent to you if you want to check out the game.
John, closing thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, thanks for, chatting about it and checking it out. I think you nailed it. That was really the goal of the whole thing, is just sort of like, it's so much fun to work on this kind of game. So why not just make it ourselves so we can work on it? Like, it'd be cool to just make it like this platform. It literally is, like we said, a skate toy. And we can't compete, and we're not trying to compete, but it's like, well, what can't, EA do? What can't Activision do. You know, they can't do account-free multiplayer. You know, they can't really do fully offline single player. In some
Single player,
cases,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So we're like, but we can. So why don't we do that? Or, you know, they can't really do mod support. You know, it just doesn't fit in their business model. We're like, oh, we can.
Yeah, it's sort of hilarious that single player offline is a big
feature.
deal nowadays.
A selling point, right? Yeah.
This timeline is so dark.
That's a trip.
Yeah, everyone say bye to John and Ralph. Thanks for stopping by. Talk to us about Cheapskate. Make sure you visit them on Kickstarter and on Steam. Follow them everywhere. Check out the campaign. Check them out on Discord and everywhere else. And if you're watching this later on YouTube, thank you so much for being here. I put all the links down below, so make sure you support and like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.